Hi guys. Let's start having some fun first, yeah? Hi, this is Vicky Ratnani, the sailing chef. If you want to know anything about any place or any food in any place, always ask a sailor. Now we're talking. Wow. Done. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. It's an honor to be right in front of you. Thank you. The only regret I have that I won't have enough time to enjoy a good mangi meal before I leave, but next time. So, my topic is about good things, it's about good food, and it's about the chef I was, the chef I am, and the chef I'm going to be. So, let's rewind back and let me tell you a little about this video. Now, this is not yet, it's a preview. So, do you guys approve this? Okay. So, hopefully this is going to be on Food Network Asia, and it's called The Sailing Chef. Now, Sailing Chef is a lot to do with my past 15 or 18 years ago, where I started my career. I mean, I went to college, loved cooking, loved eating before I started to actually cook. And then I said, dish the hotels, forget all that. I want to go abroad, okay? Because in those days, I mean, I'm not that old, but in those days, you could only find olive oil, you know where? Anyone? In your toilet. Okay? And what was it used for? Massaging. Okay? So I come from that era where broccoli and red cabbage was exotic. To now you have 25 kinds of olive oil. So, and whenever I used to read books in the library, at that time there was, Google wasn't around, okay? And we used to read books in the library, and then when we used to come back to class, none of those ingredients were available here. So I said, how do you expect me to go into the world where I want to join a hotel now? It was 1990. I said, how do you expect me to go into hotels and see all these things which I've actually studied in college, but it's not there here yet. So I said, it's time to take off. So I took off, I went over to the ships. Now I thought the ships is going to be a nice, cozy lifestyle. But when I got there, I was asked to work as a breakfast cook. After 3 years of doing hotel management, you have to stand up cooking about 200 pounds of bacon every day, 1,500 sausages, 400-500 pancakes every morning. So after 1 week, all my fingers were full of blisters, okay, because of all the bacon fat and etc. etc. Anyway, so the ship taught me a lot of things. It taught me timekeeping, it taught me discipline, it taught me time management, productivity, respect for other cultures, etc. So I circumnavigated the world 7 times. I used to speak 4 languages once upon a time. I still understand 4 languages, but only when you speak to me in the kitchen, okay? So if you talk to me in Spanish, Italian, Filipino, German, in the kitchen I can talk to you, but once you leave the kitchen, I don't know what you're talking about, okay? So ships was one of those things which taught me almost everything. Going to the best countries, learning about wine, learning about food, learning about international produce, which I kind of carried forward in my life to where I am now. Now, the TV thing happened much later when I came back to India, but now on the ship, I was on one of the most prestigious ships in the world called the Queen Elizabeth II. After I worked on the Queen Elizabeth II, I went on to the Queen Mary II, and which was the largest ocean liner in the world in those days. And I was the first, proud to be, Indian executive chef on a British ocean liner, okay? So, in those days, if you had to join, if you had to be an officer on a British, it was a part of the British Navy. which means as a chef, I had to learn how to launch a life raft. I know I had to launch how to launch a lifeboat. I almost crashed one in the Bahamas and almost got fired for that, but luckily nothing happened. I was still there. So moving over from the Queen Elizabeth II to the Queen Mary II, where I had suddenly from a small ship, I'm come to the biggest ship in the world, which has 148 chefs, 10 kitchens. I mean, I didn't know how I'm going to do it. So that was the second stage of, I would say, manhood, if I can say that, where we had to kick out 13,000 meals every day, okay? So now when I come back and I run a restaurant where I've got 24 chefs in the kitchen, it's like a cakewalk. So compared to what it was before. Now, on that ship, we were the first ones who had started doing cooking demonstrations for the guests. So it used to come in the daily program presenting you our sous chef or executive chef. He's all the way from India, and a little bio, and we used to start doing cooking demos. And I didn't realize that I was really good at it, because guests started coming and taking pictures with me and started. Anyway, so the cooking demo went on, the chefing went on, and then came to Mumbai. Pressures brought me home, parents not well, other personal problems, and all that jazz. And I got picked up by NDTV to do a cooking show. Now, before the cooking show started, I took up a restaurant called Oris in Mumbai. Now, Oris, I must proud to say, was one of the first restaurants which attempted to do molecular gastronomy. I'm going 9 years ago. Now, at that time, for us, it was a fad, a fashion, which had just come. Nobody was doing it, so let's attempt it. And we did quite well, but later on it was miserable because nobody understood it. So now it went on, and then we realized that now people are getting more comfortable within India. People are still accepting it. So I then realized that I was like six years ahead of time. Now, nowadays people have caught up those. Now I'm back into my old rustic cooking in the restaurant. Now, being a chef on TV is great, but at the end of the day, the real show is when your food is tangible, when people actually eat it. Okay, it's not just food porn. It's not just. It doesn't look good just in pictures. It has to be. You have to taste it. People feel it. So I felt that being a chef on TV and all is damn good, but I still need an address to cook. So I decided that let me go back into restauranting, and I've recently taken up a restaurant in Mumbai. So now in today's day and age, now we are in the year where food tech, now this is, I don't know, I mean, you guys are all tech students here. Technology has taken over everything, okay? It's taken over our lives. This is the first time I think technology has beat us. Now, the food tech business is one of the most thriving businesses now, okay? Now, what we are looking at in the future, what are the trends of the future? Now, because of technology has helped us so much to do what we couldn't do in the past. Like we have blast chillers and blast refrigerators, thermocirculators, which actually were inspired by airline catering. Okay, the airline, it's the same how a meal is cooked at a commissary or a central kitchen perfectly, beautifully, but then it goes into a blast freezer. Okay, so it goes into a blast chiller or a blast freezer where it can hold up until it comes into the aircraft, and then it's plug and play and we eat it. So I think the whole food tech business has been inspired by airline catering. Nowadays, it's you can pick up the food, you can pick up the phone, and you can order whatever you want through an app. Everything is over your phone has become your TV, your phone has become everything. So I think the restaurants of the future are going to be virtual. Okay, now rents are too high at the moment, so I'm actually setting up 5 virtual brands out of a kitchen. So when people ask me where's the next restaurant? I said, by the way, I'm opening 5 restaurants. He's saying, where? I said, in cyberspace. Okay, the restaurants are opening in cyberspace, where food is going to be coming out of a kitchen. Each identity of the menu is branded into another restaurant. Like today, if you pick up the phone, you will see there are so many brands. Most 90% of the brands are actually tangible. The restaurants still exist, but then there are a lot of the restaurants which don't exist. It's either coming from somebody's home, and that's the reason why even the rise of the home chefs have become very, very popular now. So gone are the days where we went to culinary school and we had to work in a hotel and we were called as chefs. Today, chefs have a very different, they have more roles to play now. I mean, early on, there was only one path where we could join the hotel or join a restaurant. But today, you want to be a home chef, you want to be a home cook. You don't have to have a running restaurant in the city or a high street. You can have a restaurant from your own house where people actually come in to eat as well. So there are some people back home in Mumbai who are actually having pop-up dinners in their own house. So it's become your own personalized restaurant, and it's in your dining room where you can entertain people, and a lot of people are getting away with it. So I think the future of the restaurants is not just going to be about fine dining and just sitting over there. A restaurant can happen anywhere. Okay, the food of the restaurant can come to you in your house, whether the restaurant does exist or not. Social media has helped us, and it also killed us as well, where our food is concerned. If somebody writes bad about you, people really take that seriously. Now, so social media in one way is good. It's a learning process. It's another method of learning. When I asked my daughter, she's saying, Papa, you know what is the best school in the world? So I said, well, he's saying it's YouTube. I can learn anything I want from there, and I can filter out what I really want to learn, what I don't want to learn. And so that's the way this world is totally getting into. Now, the hottest trends which are coming back, which I think for the next year and the year, is definitely Indian regional food. Indian regional food is becoming very, very big now. Now, all the way people in the perception of Indian food to other people was either it's North Indian or it's South Indian. But you have a lot of, you have the other regions which are also now coming into the mainstream. You know, you have Parsi restaurants which are coming up. You have Assamese restaurants. You have different kinds of restaurants which are also coming up. So our Indian food is really coming big on the map. So ancient grains like millets, like bajra, like rajgira, like amaranth, which were only used in minority, are taking place center stage. In fact, in my restaurant menu, we are getting back into using these ancient grains. So we are trying to use less imported products, and we are trying to use more local produce. We are encouraging farmers to grow more heirloom varieties of vegetables as well. Because now the whole world is just moving towards packaged foods, convenience foods, but what about the real cooks? What about the real chefs? So as chefs, we have a moral responsibility to make people aware of what they should actually eat and what they should not eat. So in other words, the whole role and duty of a chef is not just to cook. Okay, he has to teach, he has to be a provider, he has to be a good boss. He has to be a team leader. He has to be a businessman. So I think the role of the chef is multifaceted. And I don't want to take too much time of you, but thank you very much. And I would like to share one more video with you where I will, where we just went to Peru last month, another country where lots is happening. Can we have that video, please?
Hi, this is Chef Vicky Ratnani and I'm in Lima, Peru. I've come here to explore the food and culture of Peru. Join me on a series of 15 webisodes where I'm going to be visiting the Mistura Food Festival and then eating at least at 3 of the top 50 restaurants in the world. So I've got lots to do and lots to happen. Watch me as I travel through Peru, eating fantastic, drinking perfecto, and making merry. Yummy. Oh yes, baby, I'm ready.
So it's a short story. It's been a good amount of travel. It's been almost 26 years since I took this profession as a chef, and the travel has been good. There's been a lot of responsibilities. There's been ups and downs, but I promise to serve you good food wherever I am. Thank you very much.
Excellent.